Do you want to do the last one? Your last one?
Oh, yeah? Okay. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the MaxBet Podcast for my final ride as we hand the torch off to Hillary McAfee moving forward. So thanks for having me back. Is that the right way to say it? Or letting me do one more, I guess is what we're saying. But
Yeah, it has been a couple weeks since you've been
a little
in here.
bit. I know. You've been hard at work. I've been hard at work doing other things, I guess. But that's fun. It's good to be back. It's already feels weird to be here. Like you get in the rhythm of it, and then you get out of the rhythm of it pretty fast. So forgot where the chairs were. Yeah, no, it's good.
Your slightly off-kilter chair has been missing you.
That's good. Yeah, everyone else has back problems now. They're like, who is this made for? The gorilla that sits in here usually is perfectly challenging.
It was a very good deal. It was on sale. The last episode for you, but the first episode of the next season.
Yeah. Let me just say, I love that you're doing seasons. So I think
am
that's
too.
such a good format. I think looking back, there's a lot of things we could have learned. Breaking things up into seasons was probably a bigger move to make, right? Because then you set the expectation, hey, we're going to do I don't know how many seasons you're planning on doing, but like a fall run and a spring run or whatever. We were just like, we're just going forever and ever, amen. And the pressure on that was so hard to deliver. And then you get out of rhythm, and then people are like, well, what's going on with this? And it was brutal. So I think just right off the bat, super smart for you jumping into seasons and topics and doing different things. So looking forward to listening.
Yeah, I think it'll be same vibe, but definitely tailored around like hot topics in the industry. A little less about, people's backstories.
Yeah.
I think we've all heard that song and dance before, so it'll be the same casual vibe, but more like industry topic heavy from people who are
Totally
much smarter than me.
Yeah, unless they're all smarter than us. I'd say us because I was in,
100%,
did the chair too.
100%.
But it's like, unless they have a really backstory that's like when Diana Bennett came in and she's like, well, I
Yeah.
used to eat ice cream cones with the mob leader because I didn't know any better. It's like, what? Like,
Yeah.
that's pretty cool backstory. I said, but most of us are just boring. Like, I don't know, I went to school and somebody called me and then I did the job. Like,
Right.
it's not worth, 20 minutes of airtime, I guess, is the right move there. So.
Well, we've just seen like a significant drop whenever we do the backstory.
Oh,
like
really?
I can see on the analytics side, I'm like, all right,
speaking
I don't mean
with
to
the-
offend the people who have said that, who have like divulged their life story, but they stuck around for the interesting industry takes and the good gaming stories. So we'll keep that vibe. And then the little rapid fire at the end too. People really like that.
Analytically driven MaxBet. That's what I like about
That
you. You're
makes
very
it sound
data
very
driven.
boring. But yeah, I am very data driven, which is quite surprising.
It's not boring though, but like here's the thing. We spent far too little time looking at any of that, right? Like a lot of it when you start is how do you chase down guests? How do you just get gear? How do you figure out how to work the gear? I mean, there's so many things you probably take for granted. Like you came in right away, you're like, let's look at the analytics. I'm like, wow, can you show me how to pull those up? Like, I don't know. And so to your point, like it sounds boring, but let's give the people, or for you, it's like give the people what they want. If no one cares about, let's say, my backstory, cut it. Who cares, right? Like, don't make that person tell a story no one wants to listen to. Don't waste your own time. Like, it's smarter to kind of do it that way.
One thing I did wish we would have done, and we will do this at some point, is we need to have all three of us on here. You, me, and Landon. Because I don't know did Landon get like a send-off episode at all?
Like send-off is probably the wrong way to phrase it. He came back and it was did a him and I interview. Like after, I think I was bald from the hair donation. Yeah, so we did a little bit of that. Like, what are you up to now? But even knowing him, his life's changed, right? Because like he's over with us now, and
I think at this point, does the industry just know you guys are like a package deal?
it's starting to feel like that, right? Like, I don't know that it was ever intended that way. I think this latest move probably makes it more that that's the case. Yeah. Because like, so when we were at AGS, he was there first and I joined him, right? And then we just ran together and then we start the show. Obviously that becomes like hey, you guys are two peas in a pod, or what you want to say, however you want to phrase it. And then what happened when we joined Light and Wonder, right? It was one of those where, we kind of made it a package deal. Cause like for me, I was in the conversation to start and I said, look, I feel bad. Cause we were trying this other venture that we were trying to start this online TV thing, which we were way over our heads on. And so that was failing. And so as that was failing, like I had an opportunity to join, Matt's team. And I said, look, man, like I want to do this. I don't want to negotiate anything except I want you to find a home in the company for Lando, just because like he's qualified. It's not like some guy that's never worked in gaming. I need to get him a job.
Right.
Like, he knows the business. I said, but like I don't feel good taking this life raft out of this failed venture by myself, right? And so like he goes, for sure. So obviously that worked out, and Landon had a great run, and we both did. His was longer than mine, but he had a good 3.5 year run with them, and now we recruited him over to Blueberry. But I think this last round is probably where it becomes like, well, okay, well now it's again. Like again is probably where you go. Now it's like
the third time you guys have been at the same
third time
company.
is the charm. Yeah. So it's so yeah, I guess, right? But
Yeah.
I think there's value in that though. I think when you're recruiting, and this is where a lot of folks don't realize the value of the network, right? So when you do that, like it's so much easier, let's just say for me, to hire a guy like Landon. Is he going to be the best rep in his territory? I'd like to believe so, but it's debatable. Maybe, maybe not. But I know.
For you, Landon.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm trying to like play the game a little, but I know what he is, and he's proven it. And there's a comfort level. I know that in this case, he and I work well together. He's not the only one. There's other folks we recruited, right? And it's like, but there's just a familiarity that's comforting.
Yeah.
Somebody else may have a history and go, well, that person has clearly done really well, but that's only half the job. Like, how do you work with your boss? How do you work with the internal culture? And so it doesn't mean they're bad. Just it's easier to go with what you know. And I think you see that a lot. Like you see people moving over, sometimes in really big roles that are moving CEO level, and you go, oh, well, he or she, they're bringing these 5 people because that's their team. That's a trend. So I think what I've tried to tell people that are younger is like find your tribe or find your team, because you got to find people you work well with and then branch out, because you never know who's going to need somebody. And if you have more connections, then you might be the person. He's like one of my favorite people just because he never prepares for anything. Now, I mean, for work he prepares, but for like these conversations, he just roll in and go, couldn't hire him, he didn't prepare. But like,
never works.
He works, but yeah, so no, anyway, so like, but he'll just roll in and like, you never know what you're going to get. Mm-hmm. Like, it's like literally somebody just threw a grenade in a room and it's like, what's this guy going to say? Like, so ideally think like if we brought him in, we should just have no plan and see where it goes.
I like that.
We can't really do edibles anymore, but I would say that would have been that kind of vibe where you do like a substance and then just see what happens. But we're now on the straight and narrow, back in the real job, so we can't do that anymore.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's
do you guys do drug tests? Is that a thing?
Not really, but I just feel like at some level you go, look, we're responsible for quite a bit here. It's just not a good look to partake. So I don't think there's anything wrong with it. Like we've done it in the past, but not at this tenure.
I'm not a partaker, but I don't judge anybody who's.
Yeah, I'm not the same, but I just think like for me, it's like, all right, different level now. Probably wouldn't do a weed episode, but wouldn't judge those that did. If you did it, you're independent.
I don't think that's ever going to be
rum, Malibu, and diet, or
no.
what's your
I don't really
alcohol?
drink anyway.
No? Yeah, exactly.
I was at a birthday party this weekend, and we got the bill for all the drinks. It was all on one tab.
Okay.
Miserable. Martini. I drink espresso martinis, but I'll just have one, and then I'm like awake for the night, and it's fine. But
perfect.
It works out great.
Is that the goal? Just I'm up all night?
It really is, yeah. Otherwise, I want to go to bed at like 9.
Yeah.
Martini, 25 vodka sodas.
Yeah.
And I was like, who is drinking vodka soda still?
Is that out? Is that not good?
No, I think it's just me who doesn't like them. Do you drink them? Do you enjoy them?
So great 2-part question. Because do I drink them? Yes. Because like if I'm out at a trade show or if I'm out like in a mingle, it's such an easy drink to not have a bunch of, because I could have one and I don't really love the taste.
It's terrible.
Right. But if you had like, for example, like if I'm at the pool, we go to the pool, Malibu with like a Coke Zero, I could drink the whole bottle. Like, you know what I mean? It tastes good. I like it. So that's a danger zone. It's like I wouldn't do that out at a trade show. So like for me, a vodka soda is an easy, low calorie. I'm not going to put myself in a bad spot publicly. But no, if I was sitting at my house and I'm not drinking vodka soda as my beverage of choice, right? So
I think I would just rather drink nothing. Like I would rather
Milk.
have a Diet
Just-
Coke
yeah, exactly.
than drink that. It doesn't have any flavor. It has like negative flavor because it's a bad flavor. Anyway.
So one bill, how'd that sort out? That's like the new challenge these days. It's like who's throwing in on what? Because everyone has card and no one wants to split it on card.
We just put it all on one card, and then everybody paid what they had. If they remembered how many vodka sodas they had.
25 of those is like good luck. Did you do a theme? You guys, I've noticed, being an Instagram follower of yours, being a fan, if you will, a lot of theme parties for the ladies in town here. I don't know if that's a...
We're heavy on the themes.
Yeah. So what was this weekend's theme? Did you have one?
I came up with it. It was for like the August birthdays. We just said, let's just combine it, have one big party.
That's a bold deal, because Leo is August, and they are typically like, I want my own stage, I want my own party. Like,
it was a gamble. It was a risk.
Them all together.
It was 3 Leos and a Virgo, so quite the group.
Sounds like the
to
beginning
pull that
of a
on.
joke. Yeah. 3 Leos and a Virgo walk into the Mob Wives party.
Yeah, but the theme was Mob Wives. Yeah. Everyone was super excited about it, and then as like the time grew near, and people started getting their outfits, which Mob Wives is like, it's open to interpretation, but usually people go pretty New York, New Jersey, heavy on the leopard print and the fur.
Fur is what came to mind for me.
Yes.
Leopard print I wouldn't have thought, but that makes sense.
I didn't think that either. I ended up wearing leopard print, and apparently like 13 of the other 14 girls did too. So it was a sight.
I'm not fashionable, right? However, if I had dressed up thinking I look good in whatever, and let's just pick on Andrew. He walks in, same thing, because he's my guy. I'd be like, dude, nice, right? I'd celebrate the first one. 12 more guys walk in the same kit. I'm going, what the hell just happened? Like, we're not a marching band.
Yeah.
Like, so how is that received for the ladies? Like, when you all walk in and it's leopard, are you like giving props? Are you like, damn it, Bethany, what is going on? Like, I don't know if
No,
there's
we
a
were
Bethany.
pumped.
Yeah,
we were
okay,
pumped.
good.
But we did it at a country club because we
Yeah,
couldn't, otherwise that many people, you got to rent a room. Anyway, and we're like, you know what, it's going to be fine because it's a Saturday night. Like, these places are usually pretty empty on a Saturday night. Like, everyone's done golfing at like 5 or 4,
right.
and they're exhausted. We did not know that it was the end of like the biggest golf tournament of the year.
So good. So all the quote unquote mob husbands are hanging out drinking, and then all these. So good. Would you wear this not to a costume party?
Absolutely
Okay,
not.
so that's my point. So you have
Absolutely
like
not.
a maybe mildly embarrassing dress if you wore it to a dinner on a Friday night, but to a theme party, it's awesome because it's
100%,
exactly
yeah.
the vibe. Got it. Okay.
Yes,
Yeah.
but it's also like, I don't want to run into anybody I know and have to explain this look without being around the other 13 girls.
Like, I know you're used to me at the PTA meeting.
Yeah,
This isn't.
I didn't want to explain that. I didn't run into anybody I knew because everyone
so
I knew
good.
was already there.
Was already in the party.
But I know some other girls were like, oh my God, this is like Sandy from down there. We play pickleball together. I had to explain to her why I'm wearing like, leopard print tights. Anyway.
Don't worry, times are good. I'm not hooking for rent. It's a theme party, okay? It's just a thing. It's like Halloween in the summer. We're okay.
Yeah,
so
fur in 110-degree heat is a different level, but
I can't even remember the last time I dressed up like that for non-Halloween. I mean, obviously, I'm not a leopard print dress guy in any season, but like, it's like just thinking about it. So I couldn't even imagine, like, but the feeling's got to be wild. You walk in, you're like, oh, hey, fellas, like golfing, eh? Like, that's not what we were expecting.
it was a great grand finale for that golf tournament, I'm sure.
Yeah, they're like
A great show.
They're probably like, guys,
a great show for them.
Can we bring the mob ladies every year? Like, great. They're like thinking it's clapping it up for the organizers.
They were expecting a performance of some kind afterward, I'm sure. All right, well, you've done this for 5 years now.
Yeah, pretty wild.
That's a long run.
That's a long run.
What were some of your favorite interviews? Who were like your top 3?
Like, Matt Wilson came on the pod a few times. The first one was my favorite, but it actually wasn't because of the show. It was in between. So we used to use a technology where you had to do it, you're not together, right? So you're doing everything COVID, you're recording separately. And then after you conclude the interview, so you talk for whatever it was, 30, 40 minutes, and then we're like, hey, we're going to stop the recording, but you got to sit there for 5 minutes and let it load. Like, it was like super old tech. And in that time, you can still talk to each other. You're just not recording. So then we hang up the recording, and then we start jumping into like different topics, leadership, this and whatever. And I was like, man, like I told him, and he said after, he goes, I enjoyed the post-game conversation almost more than the interview, right? Because the interview's got a structure. It's a little more rigid. This was like, we're freewheeling, 2 guys talking about team building and culture. And it led to what is now our friendship. So I was like, that was really cool just because like it opened up this. So I always remember that, go, man, I wouldn't even be buddies with you. Like this whole thing to lighten, probably none of that would have happened without that interview. So I look back on it because not only was it enjoyable, but it kind of led to a lot of things. Recency bias, like I think Andrew's interview that he did with both of us got really strong reviews. And I feel like that was the pinnacle of preparation and really doing the work. Because I'd say over time we started winging it. Like the first couple episodes, just winging it. Hey, I know you, let's talk and figure it out. And we'd no plan. And then by the time we got to that interview, it was like between him and I and you, and it was like, we're really dialing in. How should this go? What are the topics? And it felt like the best like executed interview. Like, love the guy personally, but whether the audience loves him or not, or the topic, like I feel like just as a journalistic delivery of a show, that was probably the best one. Again, recency, like Diana Bennett was such an interesting character to have on.
I've referenced that interview so many times in just random conversations.
Really?
Like,
Yeah.
I've retold those stories many times.
I think Siobhan and Cassie Stratford, I want to say is her name. So Siobhan Lane from LNW, she can go by one name. I feel like she's the only Siobhan, but like they came on. So this was back, I think Cassie at the time was president of GGW. And they came on. And I remember for Landon and I, that felt like such a big moment because it meant like because we were getting a lot of, I don't want to say hatred, but we were getting heat being like, you're too bro-y. Like, you guys are too, like, it's too dude focused. And it's like, I don't know, we're dudes. What do you want? And so that was like a lot behind the scenes to say, hey, like, we don't mean to stiff arm the ladies as an audience. Help us be better. And so that started kind of this path of like, well, we'll coach you up a little bit. And then they came on as like, we are with you in terms of like, these guys are trying to be better and more inclusive. And so I just remember thinking that was like a big deal episode just for like what it was. And then I remember we had a fun discussion where like even I challenged them a little bit and they took it well. So I don't know if that was 3, but that's kind of the mix of ones that jump out. There's so many more. I mean, there's obviously more. Those aren't even the best performing, right? So if you talk about just from an analytics perspective, there were so many more. Like Ari's recent one on persistence did well. Todd Haushalter put us to the number 2 podcast in all of Sweden for a week, right? Like, I mean, there are some really cool stories mixed in, but I think just off the top of my head, those are the ones that jump out.
Talk show hosts will often be like, oh, this person was like the worst interview and they're not welcome back. And they were like really difficult. Don't name names, but like, did you ever have that experience where you're like, that was not good. Yeah. Or that was difficult.
Yeah, there were two off air. So no one that made the air was bad. Like, I feel like 95+% of people even engage with her. Super cool, understanding of like the old tech setup, or like, I mean, shit, Kevin Sweet. We had to re-record a whole episode. Like, we did the episode and then like somehow we forgot to hit record or didn't record, so we had to do a whole thing again. And he's like, I'll just hang out, and like, dude, super class act.
Yeah.
So like most people are like that. Like, they're like, they get what we're trying to do. There were 2 guys, and one wouldn't be welcome back. The other one we probably just wouldn't have back because I don't know that he's the best media personality. But yeah, one, we did an interview and it was just awful. And we're like, we can't release this. Like, we can't release it for us because it's not entertaining. We don't want your brand to now be that, because I think you just got super nervous and it just fell apart on the air, like, which is the first time we had ever seen that. So that one we just shelved.
Yeah.
So that's, again, not a bad person, just maybe not the right fit for media. And then there was one guy that was just kind of he's not coming back. So it was just like a lot of, the arrogance was pretty high. Like, we had said, hey, like, you need to be on a laptop, and he shows up on his iPad and he's like, well, it's not working. It's like, well, you're not on a laptop. He's like, well, I don't have time for this. I was doing this as a favor to you, and like, I don't need you. And I was like, whoa, like, all right, well, we don't have to do this. Like, we thought everyone was bored hanging out. Like, we don't do it. We don't like, it's fine, dude. Right.
Yeah.
But just the arrogance of that individual was like remarkable, right? And so I think for us, we were like, we're probably okay to not be friends anymore. Like, that's okay. Like, you do your thing and we'll be fine. But like, I don't know that I'd even say hello. Like, that kind of like just was such an off-putting experience.
What do you think the MaxBet legacy is? Do you think it had an impact in any way?
Yeah, there's some. I mean, I think we've referenced this before, and he's come on to talk about it, but like, one company was acquired directly as a result of the MaxBet show, right? Where we had Todd, chief product guy from Evolution, come on, and we were talking about him, and he's like, what I really need is this big wheel-based product, and if we could have that. And then John Purcell, who had DigiWheel, like, listening to the episode going, I have that product, right? And so those two connected, and lo and behold, one buys the other, and, life changed, right? And so I think, so there's definitely been that. The legacy, which I didn't expect, right? Because, again, we were just goofing off. We had nothing to do. We wanted to maybe selfishly build our brand a little bit, but we just thought it'd be fun. But what I got towards the end, and even now, is people going, oh, I learned so much, right? And so what you'd end up having is this, I don't know if it's a wave, but you have this tide of younger entrants to the business that their bosses, or maybe friends of ours, or whomever, somebody more senior, is like, look, I don't have time to teach you all. Just go listen to MaxBet, and you can listen to Boom 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 interview, and that'll teach you about cashless. Or you can listen to Andrew, and they'll teach you about culture building. Or you listen to Matt, and he'll talk about, slots or LW, whatever. Like, so I think there was just so much of the educational side that I didn't appreciate, and that by large is the most I like. It sounds weird, but like, you will get stopped at trade shows. Oh, you're the MaxBet guy. Like, and that I didn't expect, but almost exclusively when that happens is I learned so much things. Like, I was new to this industry, my head was spinning. I listened to your show, and it all started to come together. So I think hopefully from a legacy perspective, there's like people going, oh, that's what that meant, right? Yeah. Or like, you have like a guy like Bone came on historically on Rob Bone, and he was talking about systems and breaking down, and it's like, oh, that's systems acronyms, because that's like alphabet soup in this business, right? So, or Noah Akers talking about his stuff. So there's just so many things where people are like, oh, I didn't know that, right? The whole marker track series we did about cashless, there was so much good learning in there. And so I think, I guess, to answer long answer longer, is like the legacy hopefully would be we taught some people parts of the business they aren't organically familiar with.
I definitely agree with that. And I also think you just brought this fresh air, really, into an industry that was, I think, pretty corporate. Some looseness and some fun in a typically more buttoned up white-collar industry, which not everyone can do.
Well, I appreciate that. I think that's the hard thing, right? I mean, we talk about this now, like how we're trying to scale a culture at Blueberry that is organically fun and like we're trying not to be, you said it best in one of the, I don't know when it was, but you said you don't want to be blue blazer, right? Like that old school corporate suit and tie every day. However, there's a lot of disciplines and business processes that are solid, that are corporate, right? And so I think what we were trying to figure out in the interview is like, how do you maintain the integrity of a good business strategy discussion, or really talking about tech moving forward, not making fun of AI, not saying, oh, cashless is just above us, like we can't, but not doing it in such a way that it's all talking points and just journalistic. Like, how do you talk about, like, for real people? And that's the balance we tried to strike, and it sounds like in your mind maybe we got there. And I think that's the key, right? And plus, I think for me anyway, you talk to all these folks, and it's wild to watch, and I know it's the game and it's every industry and it's just how it goes, but if you talk to most of our guests offline, they are very, I used to say Chuck Taylors and jeans, but they're Jordans kind of, they're not stuffy people. That's just not who they are. They then take roles where the prevailing advice is, well, you can't say anything. And if you say more than the talking points, you're liable to get sued. And if you say this, then they're going to hate you. And it's like, well, okay, but how do you take a little less of that and a little more of their offline personality and bring it into a forum that can be comfortable and is positive? And that's what we were going for, right? Because, I don't want to name names on that one, but you see the talking point version of somebody, and then you meet them, you're like, oh, you're not a blue blazer at all. And that's, I think, what we just try to say. There's a lot of cool people here. Let's just hang out with them.
I think that's something that you guys have done a good job with your previous guests, and I've tried to also replicate that moving forward, where I'm just like, hey, just to let you know, this is not like really a talking point kind of show, unless you want to sponsor, which is a completely different topic. But we're not like a brag about your brand kind of show. You can go get like a formal interview for that, or go to like, a publication and do it there. But this isn't the platform for that. This is where like we want thought leadership and people who are experts in their field, but it's almost like we're having a conversation at like a coffee shop or out to dinner.
I think the good news, what we try to tell people is like, we can edit it. Like if you went on some rant, I was actually surprised how many really high profile people, I mean, big titles, people everybody would know, go, I am so nervous to sit in the chair.
That is very surprising.
It's like, what?
Yeah, that was surprising to me too.
And the first couple episodes, we were nervous because we didn't really know what we're doing. It's like, I don't know. And you got this big name. Hope I don't mess it up is kind of the feeling. But then you're going, now we're 20 episodes in, so we don't care, and you're still, guest is still a C-suite or inventor, owner, or whatever. And you're going, what do you mean you're nervous?
Yeah.
That was weird, right? And so then we'd have to reassure them, like, listen, say whatever you want. If we have to edit it, we will. I think we've only edited one thing in the whole history. Like, I mean, we've edited for time, but we haven't had to like edit any real major mistakes. Like nobody's gone off the rails.
No major mistakes. I think if someone's like, oh, I want to answer that differently, then we're like, let's run it through again.
Yeah.
Things like that. That's totally fine. You would not believe how many I remove.
Oh, I would.
Each
actually.
episode.
Yeah.
And everybody has like their signature filler word or filler saying. Some people it's like, so on and so forth was someone's, and it was constant. I probably removed like 20 of those in one 30-minute episode. So no judgment. We'll just edit it out so you sound the most professional version of yourself.
Normal.
What's the single funniest thing that has happened mid-recording?
The one that comes to mind is when Landon's mom was vacuuming. It was like episode 1 or 2. So like we're recording on Zoom basically, and she's vacuuming in the hallway, and he's like, "Ma!" Like it's like a scene out of a Will Ferrell movie. "Ma, keep it down," right? Like she's like, "Oh, sorry." Like, so that's what comes to mind. I mean, unfortunately, like a lot of the mid-recording is pretty boring.
You've been in the industry for like
almost
35.
20. Yeah, 35.
20,
Take
sure.
it easy. I turned 40, but I'm not.
Sorry. It's just easy for the years to accumulate.
They do. Actually.
What's your prediction for the next 5 years of gaming? Where do you think we're going to be 5 years out?
I don't know the exact answer. I know AI will feature heavily, right? And maybe not overtly, right? Like you're already seeing it in game design and game development. You're seeing it in internal processes, right? Like, I don't want to give the secret sauce away, but companies are using it to be more efficient. So what that leads to likely will be more content, more deliverables faster, right? So you accelerate roadmaps. more mergers. I'm guessing somebody like, you just saw IGT and every buy. There'll probably be a lot more of that activity.
Yeah.
As pressure mounts on the big three and things need to grow. So you probably see, I don't know, one company fail, like completely go, what, they're bankrupt, they're done. Like there's always some of that. And then I think you'll probably see at least one or two more like, oh, that's a big deal merging together. Right.
What do you hope stays the same about the show? Or you're like, oh, I hope that doesn't go away.
Yeah, I think just the vibe of it, right? Like I think we talked about earlier, like and that's why I feel so good handing it to you, right? Because I feel like
I'm the least corporate person,
That's part of it, but I think, but here's the thing, okay? So it's a hard balance because it would be super easy to get on here and just be completely irreverent and just joke around and curse, do whatever you want, and like have, a different vibe on the show. You need some of that. Mm-hmm. But you need to also have a level of like professionalism and ability to speak to C-suite executives, founders, owners, investors, whoever these folks are, and get that side too, right? Because at some point, all the shenanigans, like I don't want to listen to that for the whole episode. I'm trying to learn something. Fine, one or two jokes, poke the ribs, whatever. Like that's. But then you got to get into it, and I feel like for you, you do a pretty good job of that. Like I would say we did, obviously from a lady's perspective. Like you do that. Like you have fun. Your way of getting people to laugh or open up slightly different than ours, but it's a similar goal, and then you get into real questions. So I think that's good, but the vibe is for me, right? So like I'm actually interested to see like what kind of questions do you come up with in terms of really I'll say the tier 2 questions, because obviously like I don't know why I'm remembering Diallo, but he comes on from Pavilion recently, and everyone's gonna say what's up with Pavilion, like. What about this? So the first tier is super easy. It's obvious. It's the questions everybody knows you're going to ask. They're prepared for them. But then you have that second glance, right? And a lot of it for me, I try to get into like, if I was picturing that, how did it feel when you had to cut half your executive team? Hey, Dan Scrimmani, when you were revamping IT and you were cutting friends of yours for 20 years because it's the right decision, is emotionally wrecked. How did that feel? Yeah, that's the stuff that like I try to picture in real life and ask a question that if you were in the room, you would think to ask that question, but if you're reading a textbook, you wouldn't, right? So like that was my lens on it. Landon, I felt like just free flowed. It goes, here's what I'm thinking. I don't understand that. Follow up here. And it was great because we got so much feedback on, hey, Landon's us. He's our guy in the car. So when somebody was driving, then when they're listening, go, man, I hope they ask this. He's asking, what did that mean? Explain that more. And so that was a good blend. So for you, it's like you have a similar, but what are your tier 2 questions going to be? Where are you going to take that? I think is kind of what I'm excited to see, but I have no doubt you'll do a good job, and I think you'll carry it forward. So I don't really stress about the future of the show.
Like, oh my God.
What are you what are you looking forward to?
I'm looking forward to more conversations from different points of view. Mm-hmm. We had someone come on and they were super anti-sweeps and very much like they're a lawyer and a lawmaker, and they're like, no, this is horrible, terrible for the economy. Yep. And then literally the next week, I had someone from iGaming come on and they're like, sweeps is great. Yeah. Actually, it's totally legal. So I want the differing opinions because I want the conversations to build off that. And then at the end, kind of loosening them up with like some more fun rapid fire questions, which I think you and I did really well. So now we're going to incorporate the guests into that because I have to figure out a way to keep it like fun. The mix of fun and education. It's a hard line.
Yeah.
And that's where I'm like, I can be really fun or I can be really serious. And now I got to mix the two of them. So that's, I think, going to be the biggest challenge.
For sure.
Slightly in the back of my head, I'm like, this is the first solo female podcast in this industry. So I hope I can pave the way for others. We've got some other cross collabs with other podcasts. So I'm always interested in a collab. I think there's room for everybody in this industry. For sure. I don't think anybody else is going to be able to replicate what we do, and I know I'm not going to be able to replicate what other podcasts are out there doing. So I'm not worried about that.
Yeah, I think two things. One, shout out to you. It's so hard to do those rapid fires. Like it seems probably so easy when you're watching them. Yeah, what's the next greatest slot machine? You're like, I don't know, right? So like having questions that are relatable that people like can get into is harder, I think, than it seems. So
yeah.
Good on you for keeping that going. You do have a kind of a magic there. And then the other thing, I wouldn't try to put the pressure on yourself about being like a solo female. Like it's all true, right? Like it's all, but the less you can think about it is probably the better, is my advice. Because I feel like the risk, so I was just interviewing people like to hire them. And I said to somebody, they're like, what do you look for in sales? And I said, I just want somebody who's being real. Like if somebody gets on the interview and tries to be what they think a salesperson is, they are for sure not getting hired for sales. For you, I guess the parallel being like, just keep doing you. Like I know that I don't have to tell you this because I know you won't, but like I feel like it's good advice to just be like, if your instinct says maybe I should ask it this way, maybe I should just trust that. Like, don't think would the number one female, who cares what, because you are her, right? So like, just keep that going because I don't want you to manufacture. Like I guess that would be my fear for you if you try to go, well, look, this is, skip all that. You're doing a great job. Your content before the podcast was great. The podcast content you've created with me on your own, all of it, I think has been is done really well, just in terms of like, I like the authenticity behind it. So like for me, not that you need advice, but 5 years of learning this thing, like don't listen as much to everybody else. Like do what you want and the audience will follow. And you'll probably be very surprised at how far this thing actually goes because I can tell you we certainly were.
Oh, well, I appreciate that very much. I will expect your engagement on all of my posts moving forward.
The least I can do is...
The least you can do is literally just thumbs me up, okay?
So I laughed because I was thinking about that. I was like, do I keep commenting? Like, is it weird? Am I like the guy that can't graduate high school? So he's like still like lingering, like I gotta let it go. So yeah, we'll figure it out. But no, I'm all in with you. So
no, if you don't though, people are going to be like, what happened?
So, I mean, the drama of the internet.
Like there must have been a big falling
out. They hate each other now. It's like, what's going on?
Yeah.
Yeah. So then you and me will have to do a podcast where we come back on like we
don't
hate
fine.
each other and just plan it. So get all three of us. We don't hate each other. So a group handshake in front of us.
Well, we're excited for you and your next adventure.
Yeah.
And thanks for passing it on. And we'll keep you in our, well, if I say in our memory, that sounds like you died.
I didn't die. Yes.
And you're welcome back anytime.
Appreciate that. That'll be fun. Got to get that tux back for something just to do it. Maybe that's what we do with Lando. Just put tuxes on just to do it.
After Eilers next year, the three of us will come on.
There you go. Or leopard dresses. Something.
I will not be wearing that again. Okay. That was a one night only situation.
Perfect. All right,
Absolutely not.
We'll figure it out.
All right.
Well, thanks and good luck to the new season and catch you soon.
Thanks a lot.
Bye, everybody.